Hi guys, it's Janae and welcome back to my channel, and today is part 2 and the final part of me reacting to Hudson Williams and Connor Story's interviews from Heated Rivalry. I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for your enjoyment of the previous reaction to this. But yeah, this is going to be the final one. I hope I chose the right ones. Unfortunately, I did kind of have to choose some of the shorter ones because I have only so much time. So anyway, hope you guys will still enjoy. Before we do get into it, I just want to say a quick massive thank you to all my amazing patrons and channel members. If you're interested in doing either of those for uncut and exclusive reactions, the links will be in the description below, along with my social media and my PO box. If you want to subscribe, that's always greatly appreciated. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video.
There was a little bit of nerves going up to that, being like, oh, we're gonna have to kiss, we haven't kissed, you know what I mean? Like, we're good friends and now we have to kiss.
Oh, so they were friends before. Interesting. Okay, so I had heard from some of the comments that they were friends, they have matching tattoos, but I don't know why I kind of thought the friendship developed during their filming of Heated Rivalry, not that it was present before that.
Interesting about it is,
Hold on.
about it is,
Given how quickly your characters launch into a sexual dynamic, what do you make of this shift to more deliberate emotional territory? Okay. I mean, I think that's a natural character progression, but
especially the speed, right? And you kind of see that with the edit too. I think we felt that even before knowing the edit. These moments felt very different, you know? So I mean, it's just, it's about reminding ourselves, even though we had been filming for like a month and a half by the time we started filming those segments, just reminding ourselves who, what, when, where, you know? Like, this is the first time you're doing something like this. This is the first time you're having this person over to your house. And yeah, that was it was just fun to discover a new side of them too, because up until that point we hadn't done that.
Like, I'm always very impressed with actors when they're able to do that and able to do it well, because you'll sometimes just be able to tell that the scene was filmed early on in the production when they clearly weren't as comfortable with each other, and you know, they had to kind of put on a development of the character that they hadn't emotionally gotten to yet. Like, sometimes I feel like I can just tell. No, obviously it's difficult to verify, but I think they did a fantastic job with showing that progression, even though from what I'm hearing now, that progression happened first and then they went back and filmed the first bits. So keeping that emotional consistency and journey is quite impressive to me.
Won't buy all these pillows. No. I hired someone. A designer. You think there is enough? Such an asshole.
Also, with the structure of shooting,
that's one of my favorite
other
lines.
People get that shit,
like,
linear
in terms
progression
of
is
humor.
how it was written. Our show was like kind of unusually block shot. So it was like shot like a giant movie, which means, we're shooting parts of episode 5 in the beginning, parts of, episode 4, early on. So it was all sort of, the shooting was unassembled, and so we had to sort of
take it moment by moment,
know every little moment. We're jumping in the same day. We're going from multiple scripts. So I think for us, we didn't really get the benefit of going linearly. We had to hold the entire story,
most people don't
go in on command to these different points.
But I think it's more common with these shorter shows. Like, if you have something that is 13 plus episodes, then usually you'll have a little bit closer to this first chunk is filmed first and then the second chunk, or vice versa.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that what really anchors them is not the sex itself, but what's going on in their life outside of that and how that affects the sex. Like, for me and
that's a good way
journey,
of putting
it was like,
it.
Okay, so this is this part of the story when this happens with his family, and then this is the part of this where you lose this game, and we see that referencing episode 2, you see that shift after after the Olympics and then after winning the cup, like you see how that affects their dynamic and how that affects the sex for that moment, and then in turn how that affects them after the sex like that. So I think it's really about, I think it's kind of the reverse, which is mapping their lives outside of that, and then how do they show up sexually and romantically because of this and this.
Yeah. I mean, that makes the
For
most
Ilya, at least.
sense.
I don't know if he feels the same for Shane.
Yeah, I felt like the approach was, I always knew where I stood on that sort of debate. I always felt, handled the right way, sex does have a huge place in storytelling. And with this show, we got the benefit of the sex scenes being treated as, deliberately as the conversation scenes, almost more,
Yeah.
because we had rehearsal for them. We had conversation about the conversation that's happening within them. And, hopefully this show kind of proves how, if you skip the sex scenes, or you kind of go, oh, this is for the people who just want to see some raunchy like sex or lust, you miss the story.
Come here.
One other show that I will say executed it similarly in terms of the gravity of the scenes, for me, was Ken Porsche. And I think that's very well put from Hudson, saying how important it is because the sex scenes so clearly reflected where they were at, but it also juxtaposed where they were at, especially for me with Shane. It felt like he was allowing himself to be free with Ilya when in his personal life he was still being very, very constrained with his parents in a sense, and with how he was interacting with his friends. And you don't get that juxtaposition if you skip the sex scenes. You miss a giant part of both of their characterizations if you do.
No, you come here. No, you come here. No, you come here.
Episode 1 is, what is it? I think it's like 29%. I spat all over. 29% like intimate scenes. And some people could be like, oh, so that means 71% story, but that's not true. It's most of the story is in that 29%.
I mean, after our first, we had a
Sorry, I don't read quickly enough for this. How long did it take for you to establish the chemistry and feel comfortable being intimate with each other?
rehearsal day where for a half day we literally just walked through every intimate scene in the script. And I mean, let's be honest, there was a little bit of nerves going up to that, being like, oh, we're gonna have to kiss. We haven't kissed. You know what I mean? Like, we're good friends and now we have to kiss. But the moment we started doing that, you're kind of like, oh, I can do it. It's kind of like with acting. It's with any part of acting. Honestly, I think I was more nervous for our first speaking scene than I was for our first, intimate scene.
Same.
Because that's also super vulnerable and you feel
Interesting.
really naked, just putting yourself out there and being like,
I
well,
like
this
how
is
on
this
the same
character shows
wavelength
up,
they
this
are.
is
I
what the
think it
character
shows
is.
why they were able to do it as well as they did.
So yeah.
Right. We spoke to that even before we started.
Just quickly before we go on to this next question that I still have to read, I think another thing that can't be undermined, maybe we'll mention is how the director treats these things, or the producer, depending on, like, sometimes the director will have, most of the time, the director will have the gravity of things, but sometimes in TV shows specifically, the producer has a lot more pull than you would expect. So whoever is the one mostly in charge, the way they handle it is so important as well. I remember there was a discussion about this that I found very interesting. I think it was there was someone who did an amazing video essay on 50 Shades of Grey. Like, I personally haven't even watched the movie, but the discussion that he had was very interesting. I will put his name up here if I can remember what it was, but he talked about the filmmaking behind it and how supported the two main actors felt during the first movie's sex scenes versus in the second movie sex scenes, where they almost felt the need to like get drunk during the filming just to cope with the scenes. And obviously these scenes can be a very emotionally vulnerable time for actors, and I'm glad that they felt that they were supported, it seems like. But yeah, the director creating a safe space, allowing them the time to do these walkthroughs, taking it as seriously as they would any other scene within the film or the show, is so important as well.
Started shooting, I think Connor was telling me how sometimes, when you're acting and someone starts doing a character in front of you, it's hard to take in, and your brain can't quite handle the difference. But I found the sort of departure, the mutual shift of both of us playing things. I would speak about things of Ilya that I related with, that I understood, that you were like, I'm not sure I like this about Ilya, or this feels weird, and then this vice versa with Shane, I would be like, oh, what does this mean? And Connor's like, oh no, this is what I love about Shane. So I think
Oh wow,
it
okay, that's
helped
really
us,
cool.
there's curiosity that kind of led the ship, which was really nice.
I feel pretty aligned with the fans because we want the same thing. And at this point, it's my job to take that personally.
Ilya?
What do you say?
I stayed with my Ilya accent.
And that was such an iconic moment. I like the idea that they understood different parts about each other's characters better, because I think it probably came through in the acting in a way that I wouldn't necessarily be able to pinpoint right now, but if I were to rewatch it, that would really inform it. And like it shows a great level of collaboration, that they were able to help each other understand their own characters better.
Like whenever we were filming, if we had a filming day, I was in that from the time I showed up to my trailer in the morning until we called cut on the last shot. And I think that helped a little bit, like keep not only us in a space. I mean, our energy would go crazy. We would do something, a very serious or dramatic or whatever, and then 2 seconds later it'd be kind of laughing and clowning around. But yeah, speaking to your point, I have a really hard time acting with people that I'm very close with, that I know, because my brain does this like backflip where I'm like, that's not, like, why are you lying to me right now? For whatever reason, I never had that with Hudson, which I think is a testament to his really good acting, but also I think both of our abilities to like click into these characters and be like, not only do I get where I'm coming from, but I understand why you're doing what you're doing. And it just makes it feel 10 times better.
I think Shane
That's cool.
loves control, and like outside of his life, he likes steering the thing. He likes, dominating to a degree in his sport. He likes to do everything to be able to continue to do that in his sport. And I think that's his whole life up to this point. So I think with Ilya, there's an element of control he can give up. And, he's reinforced that he's doing a good job. And I think at the end of the day, Shane loves to do a good job and make people happy and perform. And I think with Ilya, it's both his sexual urges are that of more, it's more submissive, but also it's, for him, that's the joy of how he can perform.
I think that if you take like Shane's character, for example, he is so in control and he is so domineering and so is at the, controlling so many elements.
Yeah. And like the more they talk, the more what I implicitly understood about their characters is coming more and more to the forefront of my mind, and it works so well. I'm kind of a little bit in awe at the moment, realizing how well characterized they are, because for Ilya, his entire external life more or less is out of his control. Like, he tries to control it, but his family just doesn't have the kind of dynamic that can really be controlled. And so being allowed into a safe space where Shane trusts him to be the one taking control is the perfect counterpoint. And they work so well because their dynamics are reversed in the two different areas of their lives, and it clicks and works for them. It's so good. Okay, sorry.
His life, you know, the pressure to be the performer, the hunter, the man, so to, you know, for lack of a better term. And so yeah, I think sometimes sexually people seek out the opposite of the energy that they want in their real life. It's kind of like, you know, these highfalutin businessmen who, you know, love to be dominated, and you hear them like they have a dominatrix and they want to be treated like a little sissy, you know. And I kind of think, again, it's kind of the same
That
thing
called
with
him a
Ilya.
god.
I mean, if I look at his emotional journey,
It's not wrong though.
secularly from
It's more common than you
our
would
arc
think.
and the love story in the show. I mean, he is totally out of control in terms of what he's allowed to be in his country. He is totally out of control in how everything goes down with his mother. He is so out of control with his father. I mean, I've said it.
And his brother,
I
oh my
don't
word.
really think that Ilya gives a shit about hockey, and you know, it just so happens to be something he's good at, and so he's thrust into this thing. And what's the opposite of that? You know, is being in control.
What a fucking day, huh? Yeah, so... Is everything you dreamed of? Almost. I'm sorry. No, you're not.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I live
that-
in West Hollywood, so I feel like I'm in the
such a
body
good show. And I love that you can tell from the way that they are answering these questions how seriously they're taking it, and how deeply they've considered each of their own characters. Ideally, that's what you want from an actor, but that's not always what you get.
I mean, I was telling Hudson, he's visiting obviously for this, and I was like, yeah, I mean, we're in a place where West Hollywood, you know, men's beauty is a huge topic of conversation. I feel really blessed though, because even though there is, you know, a lot of attention on our bodies, I feel like for the most part people are being really nice, you know. I mean, let's be honest, people can be really cruel online, like horrible. And people have been really nice, and not only nice to us but also protective of us.
Oh, that's good
so
as
I just
well.
feel blessed. Honestly, could have gone really bad. People are evil sometimes,
Yeah.
and I haven't been experiencing that, so it feels good. Keep it coming, you know.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot, both with Jacob, between ourselves, and yeah, I think on the surface it's, you know, confusing that, you know, possibly like why would straight women like this, but also, you know, Jacob has said it. There's so little care into that thought. You know, the fact that this show is going like, what? Straight women like this? And both, I think, I was talking to you about this. I think there's both a chances element, or like a statistic element of like, in a straight relationship, if you're a straight woman, you don't fancy the gent in the story, or maybe you're not attracted to him.
Yeah, no, that is the thing, is like, it's either maybe you don't like the guy, and he's, you know, it's supposed to be like, what do you call it? I'm hitting a blank. Is it, like, it's supposed to be escapism. So sometimes you don't fancy the guy, or you don't fancy the guy's attitude, and when it's two guys, it's like, okay, well, you have less of a chance of not liking either of them. But on a more serious note, I think also there was a great video essay about this, is there is still oftentimes in straight relationships the sense of an unbalanced dynamic, just because of past experience. And when it's two guys or two girls, suddenly that element is much less prominent. So I I think that for me definitely is part of the appeal is you don't have that inherent feeling of an unbalanced dynamic.
Oh,
I
right.
think in our relationship, if I'm like, or like, oh, the Shane guy's not doing it for me, but that Russian, goddamn,
Right.
or vice versa, there just might be, a double chance that, there's an attraction there. But also, I think there's an element of, possibly women who, have maybe a desire to give up control. That is scary, and there's a lot of fear there. There's a fear of violence, and men are big and they're scary, but
I should just
when
keep.
if they can
I should
live
have just kept
vicariously through the Shane
watching.
character, they know there's inherent safety, there's, and I think that's possible. I'm a little bit,
I also
I'm
think
theorizing, but
I also think that I was talking to Hannah, our costume designer, and because we were talking about that exact thing. I was like, wow, it's predominantly women from the book, and obviously, I think the gay men demographic has gone up because of the show, just because of the visibility, not knowing of the book beforehand. And she was like, well, I think that there's something about this type of story and this type of love and this type of sex that has a lot to do with this almost like prolonged foreplay and yearning, which kind of differs from this more pornographic idea of sex.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think that's what the female audiences are really drawn to, and I think she was like, I think it's more so geared towards a feminine gaze,
Right.
which is super interesting because it's true. I mean, that's why we like romance.
Yeah.
It's not just the sex or whatever. It's the moments in between where
Yeah.
you see desire and this pull towards vulnerability and connection.
I would also want
Yeah.
to add, like, it made me think,
I mean,
like
emotion
in a
is for
straight
me a very
hetero
big
normal
thing
romance, it's usually you
that I
fall into
want in
tropes
romance.
and stereotypes where the woman is the communicator, and the guy's the closed off. That's usually the archetype we see. So I think
Yeah.
that it's two men. It's, well, someone has to do the talk. Like, communication needs to happen. So like, which one of you motherfuckers is gonna do it is sort of enticing, because they're like, so men are capable of having communication. They can get somewhere. They're not
Right,
completely
right.
incompetent.
Yeah, and the thing is, because it's two men, suddenly there's more of a need for the man not to just be stereotypical, because otherwise it would be so freaking boring. Suddenly you have to have dynamic male characters, whereas a lot of the times in the older straight shows and movies, it does tend to be very archetypal portrayals, and because of that there's not a lot of variety and a lot of interest in the individual characters themselves. They are more just playing archetypes.
I saw something online
Yeah.
that was really interesting, and she said that it was an influencer or like a book talk personality talking about this, and she was like, the reason why women are so into stories that involve gay men is because they are so exhausted by the idea of straight men, that like this is the only way that they get to see a form of masculinity that feels accessible and interesting to them, which I think is a cool point.
I don't think she's necessarily wrong, but I think for me it's more so like, I'm not exhausted by the idea of real straight men. Real straight men are great for the most part, the ones that I have in my life, but the ones in straight books are so copy paste at the moment. It is sometimes very exhausting indeed. Okay, so the next one is on bringing authentic queer love to the screen. So I have to say, like, I know I chip in a lot, but it is nice to get this more thought out perspective from them. Like, we know they're hilarious, that they proved in the previous one, and now getting to hear the more film heavy side of things, I'm loving the duality.
I gotta admit, when I first heard the idea, I was like, man, I don't know if the world is ready for this story.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it again, and I was like, well, I'm ready for this kind of story, so why the heck not?
Yeah.
But when you were going through, the process of it, did you have any days where you were like, I don't know how this is going to be?
Sorry, I
Or,
missed
the
this
process
dude's
of it.
name.
Ready for this
Give me a second.
story?
Oh, okay.
But then I
This
thought
is
about it
the.
again, and I was
Okay.
like, well, I'm ready for this kind of story, so why the heck not?
Yeah.
But when you were going through, the process of it, did you have any days where you were like, I don't know how this is going to be received? Or was it clarity kind of right from the start?
I mean, the clarity
I
right
don't
from the
think they
start
could
was
have
that
been prepared
I
for the
loved it.
level that
And
this
so I was
was.
like, well, if I love this, and I've discovered there are fans of this book, I mean, there's a lot of fans of this book, right? So at least there's that to go from. And then it was just about kind of trusting my instincts with it and hoping that the thing that made me a fan would make other people a fan eventually. That being said, was it very obvious to adapt a very smutty gay hockey book? Like, maybe not. But we did, we found we had a lot of support. We had a lot of institutional support from
Okay.
our parent company, Bell Media, and they were very into it, and they were they wanted this thing and they got it right away, and so that felt great. And then at that point, it's just like you kind of got to trust yourself and do.
And this is the thing with adaptations. I mean, shows overall, but just adaptations in particular, is you have to actually be so lucky to have an entire crew, or at least like 90% of the crew, that gets it on all levels to produce something like this. Like, for me, the ones off the top of my head that I can say boast that is Untamed, the Chinese drama, for anyone who's maybe not familiar with it. K-pop Demon Hunters, and this. Like, where you can see everyone was together, they got the vision, and they executed it well. So I think they were enormously lucky to find all the right people at the right time and execute it well. Because even if you as an actor can do a fantastic job, but if everyone is not on the same page, then somewhere something will bring down the quality, unfortunately.
Do your thing.
Canada-Russia final showcasing the two most talked about prospects in the world. Canada's Shane Hollander.
Shane Hollander, I wanted to introduce myself.
Okay.
Russia's Ilya Rozanov.
You're an awesome player to watch.
Yes.
Very good at hockey.
The best, probably.
We will be seeing each other a lot.
Yeah, Boston and Montreal play against each other often.
For you guys, what was your relationship to hockey before being cast?
Oh,
Intimate.
absolutely non-existent.
That's
Yeah.
crazy to believe.
The closest I got was I grew up in a hockey town, but I learned through the show that it was 3 periods, not 4 quarters.
boy.
So it was pretty.
But now we love
abysmal.
it. Now we love it.
Now I love it.
I mean, yeah, it's actually probably, if I was gonna watch a sport, that would probably be the sport I would want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Did you
my
learn
favorite
anything
sport.
about the world of hockey and the culture of hockey throughout this process?
Oh yeah, I mean, we spent.
I mean,
when we were
probably
doing all the
everything.
hockey bits. We kind of looped that. We bunched that all together in the shoot. And I mean, we were with what?
Makes
How many?
sense.
Did we have like 50?
Dozens.
Yeah, we had a ton of actual hockey players. A lot of them professionals. So we got to sit down and
Wow.
really kind of learn what that was like to be in that brotherhood of hockey. You know.
Yeah, and those guys were amazing. We were so lucky. We had such, I mean, in particular, both of your doubles who were
Oh.
just
So
such
supportive.
nice guys and
Yeah,
so supportive.
Jonah and Ralph.
Because I mean, it's
Two
like, especially being at that high of a level, it's so easy to watch someone come in as a newcomer,
Yeah.
and just be like, and just like tear you apart, you know, and not even being mean about it, but just like they could have corrected in a certain way, but they were so supportive and like,
Yeah.
you know, do it like this,
Their
hold like
commitment
this,
to making you guys look good was
Mhm.
amazing.
and they
Yeah.
and they didn't have to do
Oh, wow.
that. All they had to do was show up and look good for their own bit, but
Yeah.
they literally took us aside and taught us almost everything.
Yeah,
we
we
know.
were doing drills with them. It was
That's
crazy.
really
It was great.
cool.
Yeah, it was really
You can't
nice.
speak to the hockey community too.
100%.
1000%.
It is, you know, there's a lot to be said, but like that brotherhood and that support is real. They're really, you know, once you're in that family or they've decided that, you know, you're on side, it's very seductive and it's very supportive.
That's really cool as well. But even like there was an entire thing that I'm not gonna get into, but with the book talk in the hockey community, and even from that, like it didn't end well But you could tell how receptive the hockey community was to it before it, went a little bit off the rails. And I think like there's there's a real sense of community in these communities. You just have to like find the end, get to the understanding, and then it's like, well, you're part of it. We're here for it. I equate it to K-pop, where it's like, oh, you want to join? Come in. As long as you're here and you're kind and you're receptive, we're here for it as well.
I'm sorry. No, you're not. Montreal is nice, yes? Yeah, it's awesome. Boston is nice too?
I actually so badly want to rewatch
People
this.
like
Like, I feel like it would be such a different experience.
We've seen each other a lot. Yeah, Boston and Montreal play against each other often.
Not the crotch shot. Oh my word.
The show is obviously very physical. You've got the sport element, the
Heyo.
hockey, and the training, and also the sex. It's very,
Yeah.
very physical. And
Yeah.
so for you guys, how did you take care of your bodies to kind of get into the physicality of the roles? And did you learn anything about maybe getting into the athlete's mindset when it comes to taking care of yourselves?
I
Oh,
spent every
fair
waking
question.
minute that I wasn't shooting with Connor in the gym and eating as much ground beef as he did, which was a lot of. Yeah, it was a pound a day of just beef, which was not fun. There's a photo of me somewhere on my camera roll where I am crying eating ground because it was so much, and I was crying after the first patty.
Oh.
I thought that was it. That was a
There's-
joke for him. That was a bit, and then he's
Yeah.
like crying.
No, I knew it was. I
Yeah.
knew. Dude, here's the difference. I knew it was real. I just think it's funny.
It's yeah.
And it's getting in the
I
show.
had 2 more patties to go, and it was so dry and awful. And I was like, oh, I have to do this. But I grew up playing sports and considering myself an athlete, although albeit a failed one. But I felt like
Not anymore, baby.
but
Now I'm TV's newest hockey.
yeah.
Uh,
So it kind of felt like I
that was
slipping
funny
back
the way
into
they
the
did
sort
that
of just
simultaneously.
commitment into the
They were both in pretty good shape when we
Yeah.
cast them.
Well, that's important.
I
It is.
did.
No, it's a
Yeah,
no,
but
it's a-
but like I will again go back to K-pop with this. You think the dancers are in good shape, and then they go and do their like military service that they have to do, and then it's like, oh, the difference is stark. Like there is levels that the human body can go to that you don't necessarily conceptualize until you see the two juxtaposed against each other.
5 pounds overweight.
It's he was a sumo wrestler. It was. I mean, obviously, you're so right to because it's actually not dissimilar from the hockey training to the intimacy training. These are both physically demanding things.
Yes.
It's using your body in 2 different ways, but definitely using your body as part of the work. And I think it's fair to say that there was as much time devoted to the intimacy as to the hockey.
Absolutely.
And it was like 2 things that we took very seriously because if you don't get those 2 parts right, there's not a lot to
Yeah.
hang your hat on.
Yes. You know
Yeah.
what it reminded me a lot of is when
Yeah, because otherwise, like they balanced it well, where it both felt equally important to the story. It wasn't it wasn't to me a sexual show dressed up as a hockey show, and it wasn't a hockey show that just happened to have a little bit of sex in it. It was equal weight on both sides.
ESPN used to do the body issue.
Yeah.
Where you get those athletes and you get to appreciate their bodies, obviously for how strong they are, but for everything that they
Machines.
are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I just thought that was so important. I want to talk about, I think there's a lot of things that people will be able to take away from the series.
She's a
but of
really good
course, One of
interviewer.
the biggest things I think is that consent.
She goes very smoothly
And these
from
characters
one
are so good at checking in with
conversation
each
to
other,
another.
asking permission, communicating so well. But how did you balance that with then
Yes.
also allowing for
Thank you.
fullness and spontaneity, but making sure the foundation was consent is there?
I mean, that was very honestly, that's in the book. I mean, that's, you know, and it's also used again in the smartest way by Rachel as character development. Is that Ilya seems like very confident, very controlling, but he's actually a deeply empathetic and kind lover, and that's part of his character. That's a reveal
Yeah, and
about
that's
Ilya
why
that is like he may not
Shane
want you to
feels
think that,
comfortable
but actually
with
he's a really
him.
good guy, and part of that reflects in that he wants Shane to enjoy this too. He's not looking for selfish sex. He's looking for a connection. They're both looking for a connection, and so with that intimacy comes a very a lot of checking in, a lot of consent, and a lot of, you know, as a gay man, I can tell you that anal sex is a lot of trial and error, and it's a thing, and if you're gonna do that with your partner, there's a lot that can be uncomfortable, and there's a lot that you want to talk through and that you want to make sure is okay. And also I think that any form of part of what we wanted to do with the sex in this show is to make it feel real, and that is how real sex happens. There is you don't stop talking and stop existing and go into a montage with music playing. You communicate, you make eye contact, you discuss if something isn't feeling good or something is feeling odd, or even if you're just like, this pillow's doing a weird thing right now.
I mean, I think, like, you know, he's saying it in the context of gay sex, but I think it's so important for everyone to hear, because film, like, even if we're setting porn aside, because there's a lot of discussion already about how unrealistic porn is, but even, like, just the sex shown on film can look so, like, magical and effortless, and you don't need to worry about anything. It just magically happens, you know, and that is not it.
I'm just gonna move that. You know, that's a normal part of sex. And,
Yeah,
and I think it's hot too.
These pillows. No. I hired someone, a designer.
You think there is enough?
Such an asshole.
Why do I keep laughing at the same joke?
Maybe you like it.
I can smell the cigarettes from here.
I had one.
You shouldn't be smoking.
You shouldn't be talking. Come here.
No, you come here.
No, you come here.
No, you come here.
Now, I want to ask you two what.
There's so
made
much fondness
Hudson
in that.
Shane?
I mean, Hudson, first of all, is a really good actor. I think people, if you don't know Hudson in his real life, you don't realize how transformative and different Shane actually is.
I mean,
Hudson is
even just
so
from the few
enthusiastic,
interviews, you can
playful,
tell.
wacky. I mean, I think he has a lot of the tenacity that Shane has, but it looks very different. So, I mean, I think, I don't know if this makes any sense, but I think him just being a really good actor is kind of what makes him the perfect Shane.
What Hudson had right away when I saw his tape was that he had, which it turns out was a totally wrong
This
read
is
on my
gonna be
part about
interesting.
him, a seriousness.
Good actor.
Again, I mean, Connor's right. A very good actor, because in real life, not so much. But in his seriousness that came through when he read, and he had an ability. Shane was actually a really tricky character to write and a really tricky character to execute, because so much of him is internal. And
I love how he
that
checks in with his
requires
actors
a lot
constantly.
of active listening and a lot of letting your face do the work, because Shay doesn't talk a lot, and I wasn't going to make him talk a lot, because that was not part of who he is, and so he had to express a lot of things physically again. And I think that Hudson actually is an incredibly physical actor, and it shines through for Shane and makes it. I think that you understand what he's feeling every step of the way, and that is a minor miracle with this performance.
Like, wow, okay, thank you.
So nice.
And never will be again. Okay,
We're on camera right
back to
now.
normal. Back to normal after this.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll return the question. Well, what has made Connor the perfect Ilya?
He's a very great actor.
Ah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. And I would say
I'm
that
not acting.
he has.
Why do you keep doing that weird American accent?
Yeah, I'm prepping for something.
Okay, I got it.
I think Jacob spoke about it earlier, but his Ilya is deeply sensitive on the inside, as much as he doesn't want to show it, and the thing he wants to show is more of a performance, in a way, is his sort of playboy energy, and I think Connor is more adjacent, very much more adjacent to Ilya's soft and endearing, sensitive side. that he didn't have to play that, and that's the part of the show that's really gonna make it real. And then
That
the,
makes-
the sort
yeah,
of
that-
showy, arrogant playboy side was the performance. So that really fit
That
Ilya.
matched.
And as well, Connors is sort of a hobby linguist, and he loves languages. He loves accents. Half the time he's talking to you, he's like noticing what your mouth does or where your tongue is in your mouth when you say a certain word. And that
Or where your
I mean, we
tongue is.
saw that slightly just in the one other interview where he was like, "Oh, he says it this way, not that way."
Yep, we're not always in the mouth.
Nailed it, guy.
And
Bring it back to the show.
Hey,
but that only paid off, and everyone, and even all the Russians on the show have just
They thought he was Russian.
yeah, they
I
thought he
was
was
surprised
they
to
thought
find
he
out
was
you weren't.
Yeah.
yes. So I
I love that.
Yeah, I mean that was a lot of the comments that you could see just reflected in my reactions as comment section, where people were like, "I thought he was Russian, and turns out he isn't." So yeah, no, they're
really
not
paid
That
off.
was-
I love
kidding
that a
about
lot.
that.
Yeah, and it took a lot of discipline as well, but
Thank you, Huddy.
yeah.
Makes me feel good.
What I would say is the first thing that I noticed about, first of all, he is very confident, which is enormously important for Ilya. But he's also incredibly smart. And to play what I wanted out of Ilya was a slyness and a kind of that Ilya's always trying kind of not to laugh, especially at Shane, to show what he doesn't want Shane to realize is how much he likes him and how charmed, how endlessly charmed he is by making Shane uncomfortable, that like it actually lights him up inside, that he loves it. And he did that so well right away. And that
Yeah.
kind of
I mean, you see it even in the first, like the shot that they keep showing with them in the gym, when he's like, "Sorry."
you can't be empathetic without intelligence, and that was the big thing that came through to me, is
Okay.
that translation from being smart and sly into empathetic and vulnerable, he made feel very natural, and that's his smarts coming through.
I'm thinking about this show and how people are going to receive it. And for those who might stumble upon the show and somehow missed the memo of the sexy stuff, what would
They
you
just stopped
want?
listing it from the director of Shorzy.
Yeah, exactly. What do you all want them to take away who might be like, what have I stumbled into?
I think they can take away whatever they want. You know, this is a show that actually wears its heart on its sleeve. This is a show about love. This is a show about two people who are in love and might not realize it initially, but they are. And I think that we're just trying to put out joy and kindness here, and let them take from that whatever they would like.
Yeah.
You know, this show is also loves
I
hockey.
think this is a
like,
very
and I agree with
human
you.
show
Hockey is
for me.
there's a lot there, right? It is not a perfect culture. That's obvious. I think sports in general is not. There's a lot. There is road to hoe. There is progress to be made, but I think that this is certainly not a takedown of that. This is a celebration of what can be, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that this show is decidedly optimistic about that.
Yeah, and I think like, you know, the two that I'm gonna juxtapose against each other handle things very differently, but I think that's why Red, White, and Royal Blue also had its big moment. It's because there's like a sense of optimism and hopefulness in humanity and like the human experience in it. Especially right now, I think it's something that we just want and need. So yeah.
And I would hope that comes through.
And lastly, for me, let's end on a little fill in the blank. I'll give you an example. Heated rivalry. Come for the sport, stay for the spice.
We like.
Heated,
Saw something go through your eye.
well,
I'm telling you not to.
heated rivalry. Come for the puck. Stay for the butts. Thought I was gonna go somewhere, and I kind of went there, about 70%. I said butts.
You did.
Yeah, hockey butts. They're a
That's
thing.
what rhymes.
That's what rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
We all-
Called me intelligent. You called me intelligent. I just proved
I
it.
regretted it
Yeah.
as soon as it came out of my mouth.
We gave him way too much time to fester.
Yeah,
in this.
no.
It's
Panic,
overwhelming.
panic.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull everything back and then put forwards the better ideas in my head. I would just
The ones
say
that
on a
won't
more
be an
wholesome
issue.
note, just come for the hot sex and stay for the warm love.
Fair enough. I mean, I think that's the safest thing we would probably have ever gotten out of him.
Yeah, that's great. Heated rivalry. Just come.
Yeah.
And you can interpret it whichever way you want.
It's on that.
It's on that.
I
Thank
know how to
you.
button it.
Yes, you do, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down. I'm
Thank you. It's
really
our
excited
pleasure.
for people
Thank you
to see
very
this
much.
one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That
Thank you,
was
thank you.
kind of great to see their dynamic as well. It gives you a little bit of a sense of how it probably was on set. Okay, so we're ending off on a little bit of a lighter note with one of them reacting to fan edits and things like that. So let's finish this.
Take me to gay men, gay men, gay men, gay men.
Hi, I'm Hudson Williams,
And I'm Connor Story.
and we're here to text the fans.
From Heated Rivalry.
Of course.
Who's the better texter of the two of you?
I'm horrible at responding.
Mm.
As I've gotten older, I've started calling more. I'm not a huge FaceTimer though. You're a FaceTimer.
I'm a FaceTimer.
Like if you call me,
I do
I'm
voice
FaceTime
notes.
usually.
I like a FaceTime because I can do this and I can look at myself to keep me interested because I'm self-obsessed and just an awful person
And then I don't want to see myself.
Yeah, so you like to FaceTime like this in
I want the
particular.
intimacy of a FaceTime without the having to show
Self-reflection,
myself.
yes.
You're ashamed.
I'm ashamed.
Mm.
I don't take it personally if you don't text me back, and I don't think you don't take it personally.
Oh, I've taken it personally every single time,
oh.
and I cry when I get left on delivered for 3
Not the
days.
And
music.
that's your problem.
And
not
we're gonna
mine.
air that out right now. This is
Here
from
we go.
Jill. Please give us the backstory to this video.
Hot, baby, hot.
What is this video?
This is our rap party. If you can't tell, it's a very festive vibe. Also, listen to the end of that audio. This is my favorite part of this whole thing. Listen to the end of it. You hear one of us scream. Yeah, so that was our rap party. That was 2 months of us getting very close and then celebrating what we had done.
Yes.
By
I've seen people mistakenly think this is from some choreography for the show.
Yeah.
I don't know how that was misconstrued.
well, it looks pretty choreographed. That was entirely improv.
We do sort of similar things like this on set sometimes where we would just kind of do an interpretive dance. This one was a little bit
Oh.
more
Very clown.
obnoxious and clowny.
So what's your response to that? Please, what's the backstory?
This was us at the rap party celebrating in our very typical fashion on set where we do interpretive dance. And this is that.
It's such a corporate response. Not like, hey.
And they
This
caught
just
that
as a
part,
matter
that's
of
funny.
fact, Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
She's gonna be like, yeah, but why? Okay, Samantha. Hi. What would a hauling off double date with Alex and Henry from Red, White, and Royal Blue?
Oh my word.
They're definitely a lot
After I just mentioned them.
Yeah.
highfalutin than we are.
I think you should man this one. I have unfortunately not seen Red, White, and Royal Blue, but I am familiar with it, and I really appreciate that we have
I think we would do like a. I think we're gonna have a culture clash. So I'm gonna say we're gonna do tea and biscuits. Praise
tea
hands.
and okay.
Tea and biscuits, and then one of these.
And maybe a crown because like royal.
Hey,
Yeah,
there we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
What if we
Oh my
all did
word.
this with the
But
marshmallows?
could you imagine? That would be so funny, like them so like proper and like trying to keep their image, and then you just have Ilya coming in and bulldozing the entire conversation, being very improper and uncaring.
We like derail this. Thank you,
okay.
Samantha.
Lynn. Isn't that typically 2 N's? Okay, Lynn.
Yeah,
I'll accept
Lynn.
it. Yeah, Lynn. Do you have any favorite Heated Rivalry fan edits? This is my fave. What songs would you fans use to? Oh God. Oh. Sorry. What songs would you fans to use in them?
What? That's not. What songs would you fans to use in?
That's what I just said. Yep.
Would you want fans to use in them? Okay.
Oh, gay men. Got it. Do you know what I wish that did? Have you heard that edit of that Eminem song where it's like mom spaghetti, knees weak, arms are heavy, but
Lose
instead
yourself?
it's all spaghetti. So it's like knees weak, mom spaghetti, the spaghetti on his spaghetti already, mom spaghetti.
How do we edit our?
I wish that was gay man. Take me to gay man, gay man, gay man, gay man.
So what do you say to Lynn?
Say the same thing but different.
Should I say what you just
Yes.
said? Okay. I'll
Oh
say
my
what
word,
you
that
just
is.
said from
How do you
memory.
communicate this conversation
Sounds-
in a voice?
I want audio. I want this, but Mom Spaghetti, that song. So I just want gay men, gay men, gay men, gay men. Like, you know, Mom Spaghetti, knees weak, arms are spaghetti.
You feel like you're talking to AI right now, and you're like,
This is what I want, Lynn. Make it happen,
And then
please.
Lynn's gonna be like, let's get you.
Oh my word, can you imagine like her trying to decipher this voice notes and then just hearing Connor commenting in the background? Oh my word.
Let's get you that song. Meanwhile. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn.
Sorry we called out the spelling of your name.
I think it's line.
Hey Connor, good thing I got this
Oh,
one. This
yeah.
one's for me.
Oh.
Hi Connor, what was your favorite movie or show as a kid? When I was a kid, I loved Wizard of Oz, and I thought I was so
Oh.
cool for liking Wizard of Oz.
Mm.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
And then I grew up, and everybody's favorite movie growing up was Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz.
With a
So now I have to be cool and say SpongeBob.
I mean, as
So
if
you're gonna
that's not
lie to
everyone as
Ella.
well.
This is my impression of you.
Okay.
Hi, Ella. So, my favorite movie as a kid was Wizard of Oz. I'm changing it to SpongeBob.
Ella's not gonna know what that means.
Yeah, what was your favorite show as a
I'll
kid?
take this. Tapping.
We do all voice text.
I'm such a. Ella, you didn't ask me, but I'll just chime in anyway. Tarzan, The Incredibles, The Parent Trap.
Oh,
Amelie.
Amelie. I liked Amelie. And.
I love that he knows
La
that.
Haine.
At 7
oh,
years old.
I've never heard
Yeah.
of that one.
It's got some taste. Connie. Oh, this is for you, babe.
What are they asking?
Hudson, do you own more than one pair of pants? You knew this was coming, huh?
This is offensive. Well, Connie.
Separate text.
I do.
Just
Passive aggressive.
I like these pants. And that one day, they held me hostage with no hand changes, changes allowed.
Probably what happened, and like I kind of would love it if this was true, is they were like, no one's gonna notice that it's the same pants. We just change the shirts and pretend it's different days.
Oh, I love how it says red. Connie's on.
She's
Connie's
on it,
on
and she's
right
not
now.
responding.
Did
So
I
that's
say
it.
Oh.
I'm getting
Whoa,
out.
Wait,
I'm
Connie
leaving it.
did respond. You look so good in them. Wait, are these actual fans?
It
of
feels
Toxic?
passive aggressive.
Wow, cool.
I was gonna block Connie.
Whoa,
but
that's
I
so
won't do that now.
Rank these popular romance tropes: friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, fake relationship. What is that? Love triangle.
I think fake
Meet cute.
relationship. What's a fake relationship movie?
Oh, is it
Come
where they're
on.
pretending
Pretend to really.
There we go, there we go.
and then end up
Mm.
actually falling in love? I think Meet Cute is my number one because I love just how elaborate that can get.
I
you know?
love
And
love
it's always
triangle.
someone's always in a rush, you know. It's
Mm.
like I have to go to the big art gallery downtown for my meeting.
Yeah.
Run into you with coffee. I really
But I love how he's like, it can get so elaborate, and then he uses the most basic example.
I like the bend down meet
Yeah.
cute in particular, like something
Right,
sends
right,
them to the
right.
ground. It's like maybe
Oh.
a head bonk,
A
or like
pan up.
the hair goes behind the ear and then the eyes meet too low to the ground.
I like
and,
Meet Cute because I'm a
Yeah.
hopeless romantic.
I like that. I like love
I
triangles.
love how
intense,
we
and I
can
like the
tell that
problem.
they
I like
have
that.
watched
Question of
a
what-
decent
what are
amount,
you
a
gonna say
surprisingly
to-
decent
what
amount
is
of
it?
these.
Rank these popular
Mika.
romance. I'm gonna
Micah?
say I prefer Meet Cute because
Period.
I'm soft inside.
Mm. We're not even gonna say who we are.
Also, there's no auto tap, so it just
I
is like
prefer
little.
love triangle.
Because I'm problematic.
I am illiterate. Because Geometry.
I feel like, okay,
Settle
then
a
maybe
debate
they'll
we're
be able
having
to
in the
tell
group
who's
chat.
who.
Which sport has the best at...
Probably sprinters, honestly. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think sprinters or short distance runners for
Mm.
sure. Or bikers, cycles.
No, but
You said
like,
hockey,
for the
sprint.
gimmick, you have to say hockey.
Kind of a haiku of
Yeah.
sorts. Hockey, sprint.
Sprinter.
You've given him a phone and now he's just getting
Hockter.
Hocket?
Hockter?
Hockter.
That's a combination.
What do you think,
A sprint
Ola?
hockey.
Can you imagine?
You feel like it's
Mm.
hockey. How do you play each other's characters differently?
Like, sorry, can you just imagine the person receiving this? It's like, what kind of conversation were they having?
Switch roles. Can you do impressions of each other's characters? Hudson does
Ooh.
Ilya all the time, and
Yeah.
I find it hilarious.
I had an AD on set come up to me. This happened.
He loves this. He feels so cool about this. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to say it.
Someone thought he was Russian.
Because I do this and I go Davai and I do this and then I am Ilya Rozanov.
Do your actual one. Do your actual one
I
though.
do like this and I go Davai and I go Hollander, get on your knees, do this, flip it around, do
Says that
trick
to
for me.
himself as Hollander.
Yes, I do it in the mirror. I don't do it in front of everyone. People just hear me in the outside in the bathroom.
Hollander, on your knees, roll around, flip for me, Hollander. Flip your hair, do this.
Kind of getting like Romanian or Italian.
Very
Um,
nice.
I think
don't know if we
the
can do
longer he
impression
talks, but
Wow,
at the
maybe
start
a
it
physical
sounds
one?
pretty good.
Tomorrow. Sorry about that. Tomorrow.
What was that? I love how the deadpan look at the camera.
Canadians say
Callum has heard
tomorrow.
none of this.
Um,
Okay, okay.
yeah, we'll do a little impression.
Let's say who's talking. We'll
No,
voice
you-
record. Okay.
you-
Voice record for me. You have to hold it. Who is this, Callum? Can you guess? Is this Hector Hudson William play Shane Hollander, or is this Boston's Ilya Rozanov? Can you tell difference, or is this?
He started so well, and
Just,
then
have you been
he
tricked?
started talking too quickly.
Sorry about that. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I have to get my hockey skates on and get on the ice, bud.
What was that? Like the one that feels like it was actually trying, and then Connor just coming in panic.
This is offensive. A free Canadian.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, Shane, you can't
Okay.
do a Shane Hollander impression.
Well, this is what Callum gets.
Callum, enjoy.
Love you.
Love you, buddy.
Mm.
This is like, I forgot how off the rails unhinged they are.
Who would
How did I
actually
forget
win
that?
A game of hockey
Hudson.
Oh.
between just us two, like
Yeah.
1-on-1.
Yeah, you can win that. I don't care. Connor is getting passive aggressive. He doesn't care. Who do you actually think would win that? I think you would win. You're more athletic. You played basketball. You used to fight.
I used to
You
just.
used to row. I only used to tumble.
Oh wow.
Mm.
I was a gymnast. Can only do things with my body. Get a puck involved, and I'm.
I want to
Music.
speak
Toddler out
in
there.
just very convoluted. Con tumble, HUD athlete. When
You speak in like soliloquy.
when you
or-
say when
Oh, God.
someone loses,
Don't you give a-
does anyone really
When?
win?
When someone loses,
Kaylee?
does anyone really win?
That's what she gets for asking such a question aimed to divide us when we just want to love each other.
Oh God.
Oh
Use my
no.
left hand and still win.
Oh, do you want me to use my left hand so we're in the same category?
Ah.
Oh, sorry.
I got it.
Ah. Damn, he did it so quickly.
Victory.
I would throw this if I wasn't so respectful.
If he wasn't Canadian.
Yeah, the American side of me
That stereotype is true. by
wants
the
to
way.
break this.
And I love you guys.
And
What, the
standing at
super
me,
politeness?
laughing in my face.
Thank you so
Stereotype.
much for the
you.
text. We really enjoyed reading all of those and getting to respond, and we hope that you love Heated Rivalry.
I hope so.
You can watch it on the 28th on Crave and HBO Max. Yes. Bye.
Not the clips chosen. Okay, so that's the end of the reactions. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, it was so much fun. I like that we ended off on a little bit of a more ridiculous note once again, but it was very interesting. I always like hearing the more behind the scenes and behind the character type analyses coming from the actors. And yeah, that was very interesting, and it kind of made me want to just go and rewatch it again in my downtime. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought, which one was your favorite, and otherwise I'll see you in the next reaction, hopefully. Bye!